Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We appreciate you coming to the press conference on such short notice. My name is Vic Rosenthal. I'm the Executive Director of Jewish Community Action. For 20 years, we've been doing work on social, racial, and economic justice. 36 times in the Torah, in our scriptures, it says, "You shall welcome the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt." Apparently, the president doesn't know anything about this scripture because his executive orders of today have already taken us away from the holy book. For my community, the Jewish community, we know all too well what it means to not be welcomed in a community, to be cast out, to be treated as if we don't belong. And these executive orders take this country in the wrong direction. Now, 13 years ago and 14 years ago, the cities of St. Paul and Minneapolis took a big step forward when they passed the separation ordinances in both cities, and I had the privilege of working on both of them with both mayors at that time to get those through so that we would protect those immigrants in our community and make sure that law enforcement was not being asked to do the job of the federal government. It was true then, it's true now, and that's why we're here today. And you're going to hear from a variety of speakers. It's very exciting to have this many members of the Minnesota House, the Minnesota Senate, local city council members, and others from around the community, advocates who are here to basically stand up to the President of the United States and says, not in our state, not in our community. So, with all these speakers, I know they're going to be on their best behavior to speak briefly, but we're going to start off with Representative Carlos Mariani.
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everyone. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that this room is packed. Not unlike the packing that's been happening in public spaces all across our state, including the incredible packing last Saturday. Let me say that what you have before you here is a couple of things. One is incredible diversity. African American, Latinos, Asian, Native Americans, immigrants, Muslims, Christians, Jews. This is who we are. This is Minnesota. It isn't our nation, and this is who we are as Minnesota. We're not only here to stand up to we're here to stand up for who we are. And here's who we are, because the other thing you have here is a lot of local elected officials. And one of the things we have in common, we have two things. One is we acknowledge who we are, and we see strength in that, and we use that to make a stronger Minnesota, a stronger Worthington, a stronger Minneapolis, a stronger St. Paul. You get the picture. We know that our strength comes precisely from this, and quite frankly, folks, that's a 150-year-old recipe. We've been doing this for a long time. We're not going to be diverted away from continuing to do it. I've had the privilege to work with a number of people here to pass several really important pieces of legislation, including things like the DREAM Act, the Prosperity Act in Minnesota, that sees clearly our immigrant communities, our immigrant and refugee communities, and sees value there, and says, you know, even if, regardless of your status, we're going to be part of building community with you so that you can pursue your educational dreams. And you know what we're betting on? That's going to come back to all of us. That's the formula of Minnesota. And so for close, let me just say, and we have folks here to speak specifically about some of the executive orders that came out today. We suspect there'll be others that will come. We're greatly, greatly, greatly disturbed and concerned and alarmed that those are going to undo what we do here in Minnesota. And we're here to say that we are going to stand up to that. We're not going to allow that to happen in Minnesota. We will resist any effort to destroy who we are as a state and a people. And so thank you all for being here today. I look forward to having conversations with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Mariani. And next, two speakers coming together are Representative Ilhan Omar and Jelani Hussein from the Council of American Islamic Relations.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here and joining us. Thank you, everyone, for coming in short notice. What's really interesting about what's happening today is that there is a particular irony. Most of the refugees that are in this country and those on their way, and most of the immigrants in this country are members of our community who are fleeing countries because they are living in fear. They are looking for independence. They are looking to live in a democracy that welcomes them. And the irony in this is that this country that people are fleeing to is becoming one of tyranny, it's becoming one of dictatorship, and it's becoming one that is turning its face against the values that it's supposed to stand for. The immigrants of today, the refugees of today, are not that far different from the refugees and the immigrants of yesterday. Your grandfathers, your great-grandfathers, your grandmothers, and your great-grandmothers, and some of you, your parents. The same for our president. His great-grandparents were immigrants themselves. When they were coming here, they were seeking particular opportunities that would allow them to have a job, to have an income to feed their kids, to have an opportunity to get an education, to have an opportunity to give their children better life and a different trajectory than the one they would have if they stayed in their own country. That is what our current president got because of his great-grandparents fleeing for that particular opportunity. This is what he's denying us, what he's denying our relatives who want to come here, who want to live in freedom, who understand what it means to be silenced. This is supposed to be the country that is supposed to welcome people. So here's what I want to say about the immigrants and the refugees that Donald Trump, our president, is trying to divide and fearmonger around. We are doctors, we're teachers, we're poets, we're business owners, we're factory workers. Despite the cold here in Minnesota and in many parts of America, we experience the warmth of welcoming neighbors. We raise children here, and we raise future leaders. I hope the new administration and other doubters will come and they will visit immigrant communities and they will see the kind of lives that we are building here. I want to offer an opportunity for our new president to come and spend a day with me, to see what it is to be Somali, to be Muslim, and to be a refugee that has gotten the opportunity to have a new life. That is me. And I hope he takes me up on my offer. Thank you.
It's tough going after Jallikattu Hussein, the Executive Director for the Council on American Islamic Relations, Minnesota chapter. And I'm here today to stand with Ilhan and just to say a few words. As it's already been said, every single one of us is an immigrant to this nation, except the Native Americans and the forced immigration of African Americans. Every single person who's here came with a story of immigration, a refugee, seeking a better life. And today's ban, today's order, today's promise that the President has made is a continuation of what the promises he has made during the election. And we saw during that time the rise of anti-Muslim, anti-this, anti-immigration, and Islamophobia has now become a major problem in our society. And today, that ban continues to build upon that Islamophobic principle of framing American Muslims as a threat and showing the world Muslims that America is not a place for them. And that actually, it goes hand in hand for the propaganda of terrorist organizations across the world. We are giving them enough ammunition to continue to recruit, a challenge that we all are facing and a challenge that we all need to overcome. This ban is something that I think affects all of us, even though it affects people here in Minneapolis who have been waiting for family members to come. We have many people who come every single day to this country. Many people who look all over the world to this country for guidance, to this world, to this country, to seek that democracy that we are trying to teach the rest of the world. And so today is a dark day, but I know tomorrow will be a bright day because I want to wake up every single person in this country who believes in the democracy, who believes that this land has always been a home for people all over the world, to stand up once again, to march on the streets, to call for the country that we all have been promised for, and our generations have died for, to fight for a country that is welcoming, a country that welcomes every single person, just like me and my family. And so we must stand forward, and I want to just be very clear. The order that President Trump made today was a clear attack again on the Muslim community and the religion of Islam. And that does not make our country safe. Instead, it makes our country even weaker. We are safer when we are together. We are safer when we are united and one nation as a community.